Well, celebrations erupted in the BJP camp at around 11 this morning when trends started becoming clear in both Haryana and Maharashtra. The BJP crossed the halfway mark in Haryana and emerged as the single largest party in Maharashtra. After distributing sweets and lighting firecrackers, the focus now shifts to who the next chief minister of these two states will be. It's 9 p.m. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. I'm Frank Pereira. Here are the latest headlines at this hour. BJP celebrates big wins in Maharashtra and Haryana, becomes biggest party in Maharashtra. NCP says it will provide outside support. BJP reaches out to the Shiv Sena in Maharashtra. Sena says it hasn't decided on its future course of action. Voters signal a need for change in Haryana, reject prominent political families of the state. And time for introspection for the Congress party drops to third spot in both states where it was entrenched for over 10 years. Well, it's thumbs up once again for the BJP and the Modi-Shah duo as the party storms to power with an outright majority in Haryana and becomes the single largest party in Maharashtra, just short of power on its own. In Haryana, the BJP celebrates it as the end of dynastic politics. In Maharashtra, the alliance question dominates the political landscape. Here's a detailed report.
Triumph at the hustings again. After taking the centre by storm in May, Maharashtra and Haryana snatched away from Congress clutches going back a decade and more, with politics in both states likely headed for a sea change. Victories in the two formerly Congress-held states heralds a further strengthening of Modi's hand and a cementing of Chief Strategist Amit Shah's place.
दोनों राज्यों में अब तक के चुनावी इतिहास में भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने सबसे बड़ी जीत अर्जित की है। दोनों राज्यों में भारतीय जनता पार्टी सरकार बनाने जा रही है। दोनों राज्यों में कांग्रेस को लीडर ऑपोजिशन का भी पद न मिले, इस तरह की स्थिति हुई है।
It's an outright majority in Haryana, but in Maharashtra, the fact remains that the magic halfway mark remains to be crossed. And the way forward likely means a patch-up of an alliance bitterly broken weeks before polling.
वो बहुत अनपेक्षित नहीं है नतीजे। शिवसेना के साथ मिलाना चाहिए और शिवसेना के साथ मेल होगा और जैसा 1995 में सरकार थी उसी प्रकार की सरकार अभी 2014 में बनेगी।
Even in the early stages of results trickling in, Maharashtra BJP President Devendra Fadnavis took the initiative, voicing the hope of all being well again with the former partner. Hours later, as a clearer picture emerged, back-channel talks got underway between the erstwhile alliance partners, with possibilities of a patch-up emerging, though the last-mile tensions persist.
इसलिए मैं कह रहा हूँ कि पल भर मान लो कि मैं अगर प्रस्ताव नहीं जाऊँ और वो मना करे तो बोले नहीं हम तो एनसीपी के साथ जा रहे हैं। मैं क्या कर सकता हूं? के बावजूद भी आप तैयार हैं? पहले आने तो दीजिए।
दिल्ली से भारतीय जनता पार्टी के वरिष्ठ नेतागणों ने उनके पार्लियामेंट्री बोर्ड ने कुछ रखते हैं तो उसके ऊपर महाराष्ट्र की जनता ने जिस तरह से मैंडेट दिए उसके ऊपर उद्धव जी जो भी सोच करेंगे और जो भी निर्णय लेंगे वो अंतिम होगा।
On the other side, the Nationalist Congress Party reaches out to the BJP, promising support from outside while refusing to join the NDA, an effort to stay relevant.
कौन ऑप्शन होगा और किसके सहयोग से सरकार बनेगी, कैसे बनेगी, ये पूरा निर्णय भारतीय जनता पार्टी की पार्लियामेंट्री बोर्ड लेती है। मुझे लगता है थोड़ा इंतजार किया जाए तो आपको भी खबर मालूम पड़ जाएगा क्या होने वाला है।
In Haryana, the BJP sweep stands out for a plethora of reasons, from 4 seats to well over 40, the removal of a 10-year-old government and more. Above all, the party labelled it as a victory over age-old dynasty politics.
जाति पाति और क्षेत्रवाद से ऊपर उठ करके हरियाणा की जनता ने जिस प्रकार से सुशासन और विकास के पक्ष में ये मतदान दिया है, हरियाणा की जनता वंदनीय है।
The win goes down as historic in the backdrop of state elections to come in Jharkhand and Jammu and Kashmir, and a pointer at turnarounds thought impossible coming within reach. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
Joining me on the program this evening is Parsa Venkateshwar Rao Jr., editorial consultant of the DNA. Parsa, let's analyze what happened today. I mean, there are two things that are striking, that come out striking in your face. One is that the Modi wave is still existent. Modi's magic has worked in Haryana and in Maharashtra. I say that because, there's no real state leader as far as Haryana is concerned, no chief ministerial candidate, that was brought forward. In spite of that, after winning just 4 seats in 2009, they've managed to get 47 seats this time around, a complete turnaround as far as the BJP is concerned.
I think two things with regard to Haryana, that in the follow-up to the May Lok Sabha election, where BJP has been able to form a government at the centre, it has had its impact on the Haryana's local political fortunes. So the party which was almost non-existent or was marginal in Haryana has been able to make a dramatic turnaround and emerge as the real victor in the small party. And I think it is due to the very energetic and aggressive campaigning by Mr. Narendra Modi. There is no doubt about it. I think he has single-handedly wrought that victory. Plus, two other things are there which people are not paying enough attention to. That there is a 10 years anti-incumbency against the Hooda government. You can always argue, why didn't the anti-incumbency work in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh or Gujarat? There are reasons for that, in the sense that the Congress is always lenient in making mistakes, and they are not, especially on corruption issues, they are soft. The second thing is the INLD, which was the real local big player. It looks like the people have rejected it completely. It is completely discredited because of the cases.
Cases.
Yeah, that is a very strong. Though if you look at the numbers and the percentage of votes they have gained, their base looks intact.
So have you seen an evolution of politics of sorts in Haryana?
Yes, I think now people have opted into this vacuum sort of thing. The BJP enters.
Okay.
With the credentials of its victory in the Lok Sabha election, with the credentials of a leader who is able to reach out and communicate, and they have made good that issue.
Okay.
In Maharashtra, I think they really pitched themselves very high. They thought they will be able to get between 140 to 160 seats, but they have fallen short them. Again, remember, there is 15 years of anti-incumbency.
Yes.
It was easier, not that it was a cakewalk for the BJP, but it was easier for the BJP to make an impact.
Talking about Maharashtra, the BJP has had considerable gains in all the 5 regions, barring the Konkan region, of course. 18 seats the BJP has managed to secure, just 2 out of those 18. They managed to get 2 even in 2009, maintained those 2, but no real gains as far as Konkan is concerned, the Konkan region is concerned. But Vidarbha is really a turnaround as far as the BJP is concerned. Do you think, the promises made during the Lok Sabha campaign had any kind of bearing on what the results were like this time around in Vidarbha?
I think Vidarbha, the BJP has always been favoring a separate Vidarbha state. Partly, I think it has worked. If you remember, actually, Vidarbha is also a Congress stronghold.
Yes.
So, BJP has been able to dislodge the Congress from its own fort, as it were, in Vidarbha. Nagpur, which is the RSS headquarters, was always a Congress a stronghold, bastion sort of thing. So that they have managed to break down. But again, I would put it down to 15 years of the Congress NCP government in Maharashtra, and people were looking for a change.
So the statehood issue had nothing to do with the elections. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I would think that people wanted a change, and and here is a man who steps out and says, I'll do these things for you. Let us give me a chance, and we want an opportunity to be able to do it. And he does it very aggressively with full energy and passion. And I think politics, if you really look at it, once in a while a new leader comes and is able to talk.
Yes.
is able to communicate, and people are willing to give a chance to a newcomer.
They're easily wooed by someone who
Mr.
has
Modi
the gift of
is
gab.
a newcomer at the national politics, and I think people are willing to give him a chance.
Okay, we're going to continue talking to Parsa here about what else has happened thus far in the day. But in the meantime, let's take a look at what the Chief Election Commissioner V. Sampath has in fact said. He has expressed his satisfaction at the completion of free and fair elections in Haryana and Maharashtra. The CEC said that there were virtually no incidents of booth capturing and tension reported in these two states, enabling a peaceful completion of the poll process. Let's listen in to what he had to say.
We are ourselves happy about the change we are able to bring about substantially in respect of urban voters. I would say that it is a pointer to the extent of our sweep measures succeeding in general and in urban areas in particular.
It's the end of the road for the Congress and the NCP in Maharashtra. The Modi magic has worked in the state, at least partially. The BJP has emerged as the single largest party in the 288-member assembly, though well short of a majority. Reason enough to celebrate, as all competition lags well behind.
They started within an hour and a half of counting getting underway, as initial trends indicated a big BJP sweep in Maharashtra. Though they may have tempered somewhat after it became clear the BJP would fall well short of a majority in the state assembly. As per figures of trends and results at 8 p.m, out of a total of 288 seats, the incumbent Congress has been reduced to 42 seats, down 40. The BJP has climbed to 123, a gain of 75 seats. Shiv Sena had leads or wins in 62 seats, a gain of 18 seats. The NCP has a lead or wins in 42 seats. Others have 20 seats. The BJP and Shiv Sena firmly in the driver's seat. Congress and NCP bite the dust, pushed deep into third and fourth spot.
भारतीय जनता पक्षाबद्दल आणि नरेंद्र मोदीचा जे विकासचं विजन आहे त्याबद्दल जनतेने विश्वास व्यक्त केला आहे. आम्ही भारतीय जनता पक्षातर्फे महाराष्ट्राच्या जनतेचा आभार मानतो, धन्यवाद देतो.
A chorus of BJP leaders lauded the party's approach to the elections in Maharashtra and shortcomings of more than a decade of Congress-NCP rule.
बीजेपी कार्यकर्ता बहुत मेहनत करके एक बहुत ही बलबूते से मगर भ्रष्ट सरकार जो था महाराष्ट्र में उसको हटाए.
केंद्र की सरकार ने 100 दिन में जो कुछ अच्छे काम किए उससे आशा की किरण जगी और लोगों ने जाति, क्षेत्र, अलगाववाद, भाषावाद इसको सबको नजरअंदाज करके विकास को महत्व दिया है.
The Congress and NCP, who'd ruled the state together for more than a decade and split just before elections, stand firmly shown the door. Amid a blame game, they speak of claimed good work having been drowned out by corruption and a flurry of scams. Massive introspection and the need for reinvention being the only way forward for the Congress party.
लोकतंत्र में जनता फैसला करती है. बहुत सारे कारण रहे होंगे और हैं जिनकी वजह से हम दोनों जगह हारे हैं. उन कारणों को हमें तलाश करना पड़ेगा, जनता के बीच जाना पड़ेगा. जनता के फैसले का हम सम्मान करते हैं.
ये सिद्ध हो गया इस चुनाव के बाद कि जो हमने कहा था एनसीपी ने कि 50-50% अगर हम लड़े होते साथ में तो बेहतर होता. हम अवश्य इस चुनाव का विश्लेषण करके कुछ सीखने की कोशिश करेंगे.
Back to the victors of the day. The numbers say the chief ministership stays firmly with the BJP. Devendra Fadnavis, the victor in Nagpur, is the likely candidate for the post. He has the green signal from the RSS. But that gap of 30-odd seats for a majority remains to be bridged yet, and that will dominate the Maharashtra political landscape for some time yet. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
Well, the Bharatiya Janata Party Parliamentary Board met in the evening to discuss the results of the assembly elections in Maharashtra and Haryana. After the meeting, Home Minister Rajnath Singh said no decision was taken on the names of the chief ministers in both states. BJP General Secretary JP Nadda said that the party accepted the people's verdict with humility.
The credible leadership of Narendra Modi ji and the programs undertaken by him in the past 4 months, which has taken care of all sections of the society and they have been brought to the mainstream. उसके दृष्टि से हरियाणा में और महाराष्ट्र की जनता ने उस पर मोहर लगाई है, यह उसमें से स्पष्ट रूप से उभर करके आता है. It has been a wonderful blend of the leadership of Modi ji and the organizational skill of our national president Shri Amit Shah ji.
But so no clear names emerging as to who the chief ministers of both these states could be. But any front runners, who do you think would be the next chief minister in both these states?
I think in Maharashtra it looks like one of the names doing the rounds is Devendra Fadnavis. He is the young generation Maharashtra politician and he has got very strong RSS links, and it's quite likely that he would be chosen, but it's only a speculation at this stage. In Haryana, perhaps, I mean, it's really sticking one's neck out. Perhaps they might be, Sushma Swaraj might go there as the chief minister, but it would be very wild speculation given the situation now. There is Abhimanyu,
Captain
Abhimanyu, who has been working hard, but he is not a very prominent leader in the Haryana politics as such.
Yes.
But then that is because BJP has never been a major party in Haryana. So now, having emerged as a major party, they have the freedom to give a chance to any one of their own people to become the chief minister.
Indeed.
They can choose, instead of depending on the people who have joined them from Congress or from...
Yes.
Anyway, they have made a decision that they would not choose a Jat chief minister, that it would go to a non-Jat chief minister. So that leaves the field wide open, sort of.
Indeed, it does leave the field wide open, and we'll have to wait and see what really happens. Probably the next 24 hours will give us a clear picture as to who the next chief minister of these two states might be. Meanwhile, of course, the election results in Maharashtra threw up many interesting trends. They also seemed to settle some important questions. One was, what was the impact of the stand taken by the various parties about the statehood of Vidarbha?
38 out of 62 seats. That's the BJP's tally in Vidarbha, a region that was key to any party's success in the assembly elections. The unprecedented showing of the BJP in the region seems to be directly linked to its promise to grant statehood to Vidarbha. In contrast, the Shiv Sena that opposed the statehood demand ended up losing seats. Its tally dropped from 8 seats in 2009 to just 4 in these elections. The BJP promised statehood to the region during the Lok Sabha campaign. Union Minister and Member of Parliament from Nagpur, Nitin Gadkari, was a prominent leader who advocated the cause. But in these assembly polls, the party toned down the statehood pitch. Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself made no mention of the issue at any of his 15 rallies. The promise was also left out of the party's manifesto. But despite the silence, the voters seem to have remembered. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
In Haryana, the voters have spoken in a clear voice. The principal opposition party of the state, the Indian National Lok Dal, that had 31 MLAs in the house of 90, became the biggest loser. This fact shows that the people of the state have had it with political families of the state. They have decided to give the BJP a chance for the first time in the state.
Celebrations for the BJP in Haryana. But introspection for the Congress in a state that it had well within its grasp for nearly 10 years. Narendra Modi's charisma prevailed once again for the BJP to help it score on debut. The Saffron Party tested electoral voters on its own for the first time in the state when wrested power from the Congress. The verdict has given dynastic politics in the state a huge jolt. Big wigs of almost all parties lost. Early trends showed jailed INLD chief Om Prakash Chautala's family members are trailing on their seats. Chautala had appealed for votes, saying he would take oath as chief minister from the jail. For nearly 4 decades after its creation in 1966, Haryana politics was dominated by Devi Lal, Bansi Lal and Bhajan Lal. Chief ministers from the Bansi Lal dynasty led the state for almost 13 years. Members of the Bhajan Lal clan were in power for nearly 11 years. In the third place came the Chautalas, including Devi Lal, who were in power for 10.5 years. In fact, Bhupinder Singh Hooda seemed to be the only chief minister who did not come from a popular political family. The BJP's only strategy in Haryana seemed to revolve around Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his development pitch. In the end, that was all it needed. The party seemed to sense its big chance in the parliamentary elections itself when it won 7 of the state's 10 seats. The highest ever voter turnout also worked in its favour. The Congress ruled Haryana since 2005. In the final tally, it did not even manage the tag of being the main opposition party. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
As far as the Congress is concerned, Parsa, I mean, the Congress has been talking about introspection all through the day. Some of the very few people who came out and spoke to the media said that the Congress needs to go back to the drawing board and really introspect. This is something that they've been talking about even after they lost in the Lok Sabha elections. So what is it that the Congress really needs to do to reinvent itself? Does it need a major leadership overhaul?
It looks like that it's a leadership problem at one level. And it comes up when they lose elections. I think the Congress basically has to think over its ideological base. Its old slogans of socialism and secularism, not that they have become discredited, but their value or their impact has gone down completely. People's aspirations have changed, their demands have changed, and they have to be met in new ways. I think Congress is not able to do that. It still falls back on its own, the old and tried methods of minorities, the OBCs, the SCs and STs, without doing anything for any one of them. It thinks that it's enough if it were to reiterate that yes, we are committed to the minorities, that we are committed to the SCs and STs, we are committed to the OBCs, and we'll give some kind of reservation for everybody. And then they have this interventionist policy saying we'll provide welfare measures. They are still in the welfare state mode of government, and they think the only way to win elections is to provide welfare measures.
All right, we'll have to leave it at that. Thank you so much, Parsa Venkateshwar Rao, for joining us on the program this evening and sharing your views on the crucial elections that took place, or the results that came out today in Haryana and in Maharashtra as well. On that note, we'll slip into a short break now. Much more coming up on the other side. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hottest topics.
If you can facilitate the opening up and the expansion of the international border trade, you can add to the economy.
370 धारा जो है वो जम्मू कश्मीर को मुल्क के साथ जोड़े रखती है.
Candid confessions.
The Congress has not been able to communicate.
We have to revive our links with the masses.
World-class healthcare is available to only a handful of people in this country.
Causing controversies.
A lot of leaders today think that they rule by divine right.
Now, media has become manageable.
Watch RSTV engage personalities to the point. Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. Thursday, 1:30 and 5:30 p.m.
Tradition dating back centuries. A cultural heritage that inspires and warms at once. Magic that awes. Rajya Sabha Television brings you events that embrace the wonders of India's classical arts. Conversations with the biggest names in the culture and music. Rajya Sabha Television, democracy at work.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha Television. Let's now bring you up to date with all the other news-making stories from across the nation in our segment Nationwide. There were very few takers in the Maharashtra and Haryana assembly polls for the none of the above option introduced by the Election Commission. According to the EC's figures, only 0.9% voters hit the Nota button in Maharashtra. Haryana saw 0.4% of the electors going for that option. Heavy rains lashed many parts of Tamil Nadu for the second day. The weather office forecast isolated heavy rainfall in north and south Tamil Nadu for 24 hours due to low pressure over southwest Bay of Bengal. Heavy rains also lashed Chennai and many other parts of the state, resulting in inundation of low-lying areas. Jammu and Kashmir People's Democratic Party Chief Mufti Mohammad Saeed has called for a resumption of talks between India and Pakistan. Mufti said that there was no visible alternative to the dialogue process. He was addressing a joint convention of workers from Kupwara and Kargil. Activist Anna Hazare threatened to launch an agitation if the government failed to bring back black money. Hazare said that he wrote to the Prime Minister reminding him of the promise he made during the Lok Sabha election campaign about bringing black money back once voted to power. Moving on now, let's bring you up to date with the international news in our segment Global Buzz. Hong Kong police clashed with protesters early on Sunday, deepening the political impasse in the city-state. Dozens of police pushed into a crowd of protesters gathered at the barricades in the Mong Kok district. Some demonstrators had to be carried away on stretchers and others treated for head wounds, fractures and bruising. Local authorities in the Ukrainian city of Donetsk said 4 people were killed and 9 injured in shelling on Sunday. The shelling took place even as eastern Ukraine is dealing with a shaky ceasefire between government troops and pro-Russian rebels. Currently, separatists control major parts of Ukraine's Donetsk and Luhansk region, where they plan to hold a presidential election on the 2nd of November. US-led airstrikes blunted the prospect of a speedy conquest by the Islamic State militants in the town of Kobani. The militants have been battling Kurdish fighters defending the town for over a month now. The militants have been trying to seize the town to consolidate a 95-kilometer stretch of land they control along the Turkish border. Nepal's army is leading the rescue and recovery operation in the Himalayas. A deadly blizzard killed at least 39 people. The army said that the recent improvement in weather conditions could speed up the search for survivors. They say a lack of records has made it difficult to calculate the number of people still missing. A military court in Nigeria's capital started the trial of 59 soldiers over their refusal to take part in an operation against the militant group Boko Haram. The soldiers were led into court with their arms and feet handcuffed to each other. They are part of a group of 97 charged with offences including mutiny, assault, absconding, housebreaking and disorderly behaviour. Well, that's it on this edition of the Bulletin. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.